What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 5 of the Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode. Today, we got the offseason. So, the biggest part of this rebuild has come right now. It's the offseason. We got the draft, the re-sign stage, and free agency. And, I don't know. Our season kind of went obviously super rough. We started, building our way back up the win column at the end for some reason. But we were lucky enough. We got the second overall pick this year. So I'm super excited about that. I wish it was next year where Lafreniere is there. But having I was looking at the draft class, trying to look at some different players, seeing if they're one. I actually saw or tried to figure out if a lot of these players were real or not, real players in real life, and not very many of them are. So, just for example, I don't think anyone up until these two guys that are 5th and 6th, Byram and Keiko? I don't know how to pronounce that name. But these two players are actually real. I'm pretty sure the rest of these top 4 are not. So that was kind of something I was looking out for when I was kind of looking at these players. I checked if they were real, what they were doing in real life, that whole type of situation. And there's even some players down here that I was looking at just in case we wanted to trade back or maybe anything. But, there's a lot of good players at the top of this draft. Obviously, I wish it was next year with Lafreniere, but this is what we have to work with this year. So, I guess kind of let's get right into it. Like I said, we got the second overall pick this year. And I'm not actually sure who has first. I forgot. But who do we got? So we got Boston has the number 1 overall pick. We have the second, and Vancouver is third. So let's simulate past the first pick there. So they took I think that is it the Russian guy that was number 1. No, that was the flag that I don't recognize. So all right, let's take a couple of timeouts here, just so we have a little bit more time to look. Not like we're gonna take this full 13 minutes to actually pick it, but we will take a kind of a quick look. So they took that top overall center. That's kind of good because our centers are kind of, we have two centers right now. We have Strome and we have Taves. And then right wing, we're pretty much, set on as far as top 2 lines go with Kane and DeBrincat. Left wing, we have Saad, but we don't really have anyone else there. And then left defense, we have Keith, but then the other 2 guys are kind of like whatever. Right defense, we have a couple of guys coming eventually, whatever they decide to make the jump over to the AHL and be eligible, so we can bring them over, see what they can do, and possibly bring them up. But other than that, we have Yoki Haru, we got Johnson. Our goaltenders are kind of set once they start playing well. So kind of left defense and left wing are kind of where my priorities lie right now, but. There's some other good players in here. So, Sami Koivu, when I was looking at this player, as you could probably tell, his strengths are good, and all of his grades are really good. So, it's always tough when you look at leagues like Liga, which is in Europe somewhere, that, 14 points in 53 games doesn't look great at all. But with those kind of stats, you bring them over to the NHL, and it's a completely different story. So, that's something we got to look at. Left-hand defenseman here, but we don't know anything about him. There's no grades, no nothing. So, that's going to be tough. Right-hand defenseman would be a good pickup, but we're kind of set on right-hand defenseman. And then we get to the 2 guys I was kind of mainly looking at. We have Bowen Byram, and then we have Kako, I don't know how to pronounce these guys' names. I'm sorry, guys, but that's just, they're finished. What do you want me to do? But, once we kind of get here, we kind of get 2 guys that, 1, are both real, and then 2, they both have pretty good grades. So, usually when they have, a couple of ABs, Bs, Cs, that type of thing, usually Cs is not the best, but usually it's in the 70s, I'd like to say, usually. But, you never know. But what it also looks like, shutdown ability. It looks like he's more of a defensive guy. But with his stats, he can get some points. Heavy slap shot. That's only a plus. Great puck mover. That's what the game is now. You need good puck movers. And plus, we need someone to play alongside of Johnson, Yokiharu, those types of guys. So, hey, this would be a good pickup. But then we also have this guy who has a little bit better stats. Puck protection, magic hands, offensive creativity. The only bad news, he's injury prone. But all right, with the amount of times we actually put injuries on is going to be after the trade deadline and obviously through the playoffs. But those grades are very good, and that's kind of worth it. And then, look at that, similar style, Patrick Kane. So, it's like, which one do we need? Now, if we're going to get this Keiko guy, we need to switch somebody to a left wing. So whether that's DeBrincat, it wouldn't be Kane, but it would either be DeBrincat or Keiko here. Eventually, probably, if he gets to be up there. But then we also need a left-handed defenseman who has all these qualities. And also, what sucks is both of these guys are injury prone, which isn't good. But, or do we want to go this Koivu guy? I mean, all those A's are really, really tough to kind of avoid. Puck protection, goal scoring, creativity. Owen Nolan. Ooh. Okay, so I'm stuck with 3 people here. Koivu, Byram, and Keiko. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that this Keiko guy is projected to go number 2 overall in real life. So that's kind of got me excited about him. Byron, I think, is like a mid-round draft of the first round. And I don't think this Koivu guy's real. But just those A's, though, all across the board. That's just... It just gets me. So let me unpin a couple of these guys. So it's between the 3 guys on the screen I have pinned. I think I made my decision. I think we're going to go with Sammy Koivu here. The A's across the board, the strengths, no weaknesses. You know, it's so tough because I really want to pick one of these other 2 guys because I know these guys are real. But, I mean, this guy's rated 2nd. He's got medium elite, full A's. I mean, you got to go with this. What is he? 78 overall. Good. So what's his actual stats then? So he's 18, which is good. Listed as a 4th line forward. Interesting. He's got good face-off. Well, let's just start right at the top. Good puck skill. All right puck skills. I mean, 83 across the board. Can't really beat that. Sentences are pretty good. He's got a pretty good shot. I mean, mid-80s all across the board. Defense. He is pretty good there. He can play center if we need him to. I guess 78 faceoffs. Skating's pretty good. Not the fastest, but for an 18-year-old, that's pretty dang good. And then physical, he can hold his own, it looks like. So, hey, that's not a bad pick. I mean, obviously, I wish he was a real person. But, you know, he'll definitely earn a spot with an invite to preseason to at least try out for the team. So, all right, I think we made the right decision, depending on what those other 2 guys end up being. So, that's not one of the guys we picked, but, okay, so Vesey was the other guy. Okay, so Keiko, 75 overall, medium elite. And then Byram probably should, yeah, right there. So, both of them right after each other. So, all right, yeah, so he would have taken more time to develop. You know, could he have been eventually a good player? Most likely. But it looks like Koivu is more ready now than anything. On the fact of Byron, same thing. He'll probably be a great player down the road. But as for right now, I feel like we made the best decision. Then we got these other 2 guys in the middle. That this is one of the guys I was thinking about. Renatol. I don't know how to pronounce that. But he looks pretty decent too. It looks like he might need a year or 2 maybe to develop over here. And then Vesey would have been a good pickup also. Probably would have needed a year down the AHL or overseas to grow his game. But hey, we picked Koivu. Let's move on to the next pick. We took a long time in that first pick. I'll have to cut a lot of that out. But next pick's not till the end of the 2nd round here. We got 27th overall in the 2nd round. But all right, so now we're going to get to the part where we have not a lot of information on anyone. So we picked a left wing in the 1st round. That was kind of one of my priorities. And then now we get to the fun part of trying to find someone that's going to be worth picking up. So we kind of picked up our good left wing. He'll have definitely a shot in the preseason. But what's someone down here that wants to be drafted? All right, so I mean, there's a couple good players that put up a lot of points, but not a lot of good grades, which is kind of the one thing I'm looking for. I mean, B's and C's across the board. That's not bad. We're going to go with this first guy over here, Nikita. No clue how to pronounce this guy's name, but we're just going to go with the kind of the top guy up here. So 62 overall, low, top 4. Not a bad pickup for being a second-round pick. Hopefully becomes something that's worth it. And hopefully eventually I can learn how to pronounce that name. So we didn't have a third-round pick, but moving on to the 4th round here, we got 6th overall. Unless there's something crazy that happens in the draft here, I'll probably just show the pick, and then we'll just move on here. The draft didn't go exactly how I wanted it to. Not a lot of good picks after the first, 2 or 3 rounds, so when I cut it off, you didn't really miss much. But we're on to not AHL, we're on scouting now, and a couple of contracts have expired. However, this is something we haven't done yet, is kind of check out our scouting. So, we do have a big scouting budget, which is great. And, one thing I've kind of noticed throughout doing franchise modes in this new game is that you want to have a lot of amateur scouts. Now, some people have no NHL scouts whatsoever, but I'm actually going to keep my NHL scouts for this series. However, I think I'm going to fire all of my AHL ones just so we can have more coverage of all the prospects, because that's kind of like a big thing. Obviously, is getting prospects in, and I don't want to completely just ditch my NHL ones, but if we can get some better ones, that'd be awesome, because our scouts are not the best. The best we have is a B, and that's in the AHL. So can we change him to anywhere else that he'd actually be good? So he'd be decent in the NHL if it was in the Atlantic or Metro. But anywhere else, he wouldn't nearly be the best. So Metro or Atlantic. So let's change him over. I don't think we can actually do that right now. But who do we have to re-sign? And are we going to re-sign them? So Metro. So all right. So I think that's let's release this guy. Just because, we don't really need him. And then let's release the other... Well, let's actually check the rest of the AHL scouts and see if we can possibly put them somewhere else in our organization. So it looks like he'd be good in the NHL as well. What about this guy? Same thing. I think we already looked at that guy. What about this guy? He'd be decent too. And it looks like he'd be decent in the OHL or QMJHL. So let's keep that guy. We'll move him to one of the European leagues. We'll keep him to move in the NHL. I'll move him to put him in the NHL somewhere. So all right, that works for me. Or do we actually? Do we have anyone else we have to re-sign? Okay, so we have one. For the DEL. So we can always fire these guys if we really need to. I don't think that messes with our money at all. I think it's just, once they're signed, they're signed. But I don't think we can actually, touch them right now as far as going to hire new scouts. So we'll have to kind of redo all that once we get into that. I think it's maybe once free agency starts. I'm not sure. But all right, let's go check out our contract situation and kind of see what the deal is. So, all right. So Taves is not happy. I mean, with a year like last year, I couldn't imagine any other way to feel. But all right. So we didn't end up trading Anisimov or Murphy, but Kruger was making a lot of money last year. If you want, okay. So that's a little bit more reasonable money. I'll come back to him just because I want to see kind of what the situation is. So let me start marking off numbers here. So for the NHL, we definitely have 3 centers. For the AHL, I guess not necessarily for the AHL, but we have 1, 2. Then we have a couple guys we probably need to well, let's just see. Do we want to re-sign these guys? 24 years old. Let's see what they did. 51 points. So that's his best year yet. 5th round pick of us. I don't see why not. So let's reset him 1 year, 800K. Fine with me. Kampf, I believe he was in the NHL last year. He did all right, I guess. But let's get him for 1 more year just to kind of see if he's worth it. So he actually wants a one-way deal, which is interesting. So let's give him a qualifying offer. What else? So Schroeder, definitely don't want to re-sign him. Want the young guys in there. Anthony Lewis, he's a 6th round pick of us. Did all right, but okay. So if he uses a full year, he could possibly do all right. So again, let's give him a 1 year deal and see what he does. So 750 looks good to me there. The rest of these players, there's a lot of players down here. Soderlund, 2-way forward. 62 at 21. We'll wait on him as well. Let's just go over kind of the initial roster and see what the deal is. So what sucks is kind of we're gonna have to make some difficult decisions coming up too. If Koivu ends up making the NHL team, we're gonna have to send someone down. So or trade them. So Cahoon, I don't know how he's an 83 overall. I guess he just had a really good year last year. But Perlini, the only guy that needs a contract this year, I have a feeling he's gonna want a lot of money. Yep, career year for him. Is he going to break the bank? So he wants 4.5 for 6 years. Okay, so my initial thoughts is to get him at like a... If we could pull off a 2-year, $3 million contract. Or even, what if we try... Let's try a 2 at 2.5 just to kind of see if he gets that deal. Because we have a little bit of cap space, but not a ton. Koivu, let's just straight up sign him. Get him in the squad. All these guys are signed. Perfect. Let's move on to right wing. So we need to kind of balance out prospects. Next thing we kind of need to do. Not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. But 39 points, another, I guess, career year for him. Let's get him back 1 year. You want a 2-way deal or a 1-way deal as well? How about a qualifying offer and then and nobody else? So we got a couple of prospects that are coming over this year. And then here's where it gets fun. So we kind of have our top 2D there. All right. So I didn't really mark off numbers there for left wing. So we have kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 5 competing for a spot. I guess we'll kind of mark it as that. So centers will kind of do the same thing. So we'll have 4, 5 with camp 6. So let's cross off 3. Right wings, we have 2. We moved DeBrincat to a right wing. Just because, you know, it kind of looks better in the depth chart. But all right, on the defense here. We got Keith. So we got 1 and 1. So when I'm counting here, it's kind of left-hander, right-hander. So we got 1 and 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, right there. So definitely 2, 3. And then, do we want to bring back either of these guys? Dahlstrom. Honestly, I don't want to bring them back, but Forsland will probably bring back. Yeah, Forsland will bring back. But Dahlstrom, I don't really want to, only because I would like to get someone that would solidify our top 4. Not that this guy's a bad player, but does he want a 2-way contract? If he does, okay. So 2-way contract, I guess I'll do that. So what did I say? We were 2-3 up to here, 3-3, 4-3. So all right. So 4-3 competing for a spot. However, I'm still gonna look for a top 4 defenseman to fill that role. Davidson, as much as I'd love to keep him, I'd rather have some prospects in here. Plus, we got guys like Boquist that need some ice time. Jay Galvis, all right, so a 5th round pick. All right, so he's young, could be something. Let's sign him. All right, what else do we got down here? So we got Cheney, guy we got from New Jersey in the prospects deal. He looks to be decent. Let's sign him. Is he? Oh, he's 7th defenseman. All right. So 800K there. Anyone else? All right, no. So let me go over numbers real quick, and we'll move on to goaltenders. All right, on to goalies now. And all right, so Crawford's up next year, so we gotta start thinking about future-proofing our goaltender situation. So we traded away Cam Ward last year just because he wasn't playing well, and we got what, a 3rd round pick or something for him, or 2nd or something like that. But Forsberg, I mean, he's at that stage where we could easily kind of put him up to the NHL and him for to play. So easy there. Then as far as our AHL team goes, I don't want any of these guys, basically. Dreger was the guy we signed last year. He looked decent. I was like, whatever. Delia, I don't really want him either, to be honest. And then this guy, 0-4. All right. So, can we just buy out this guy? Yeah, let's buy out that guy. And let's just get 3 fresh new faces for the AHL goaltender situation. So, all right. Let's go see who re-signs. So, it looks like all but 3 re-signed our deal. So, I'm guessing Perlini wanted a better contract. So, let's give him a little bit more money. So, we tried 2 at 2.5. Now, let's try 2 at 3 mil. Because I want him. I just don't want to sign him to a crazy contract when he hasn't really earned it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure, like, it makes sense for me. Now, yes, he's kind of built his way up. But I want to make sure he kind of stays at that level. If he's going to get a big contract from me. Kruger, did we even... Yeah, we did. So 1.5 for a 4th liner. Looks good to me. Forsland, did he not want... Okay. Did he not want a two-year contract? I don't know. All right, what about goaltenders? So Forsberg, I don't know why he wouldn't re-sign. Maybe it was money. I don't know. But all right, so we got 4 people left. Who's going to re-sign next? For Perlini, it looks to be money related. We kind of have 2 options. One, we give him a qualifying offer and go to free agency with him. With him restricted to us. Or we try to sign him to maybe a 3 at 3.5, maybe 3.75. Because I really don't want to sign him to a 6-year contract. Wouldn't really make sense for us, especially if he starts not performing well or we get someone better or whatever. So I'll try one last offer here, 2 at 3.5. If he doesn't, we're just going to give him a qualifying offer. Then we'll go to free agency. Hopefully he drops his asking price. Or if someone wants to claim him, if he wants 4.5, I'm pretty sure that's a 1st-round pick or so going into compensation. So let's go check. So Forsberg, he wanted more of an opportunity to play because he was in the AHL last year. So if we give him 1.5, he should accept that. I mean, if you look at our roster, that's where the computer behind the scenes should kind of be like, okay, you only have one other goalie on your roster right now. Kind of makes more sense. So, all right, both of them re-signed. A little bit more money for Perlini than I wanted to. But let's get up here. Let's edit the trade block, and then let's see who's on the market for free agency. All right, let's take a quick look at, not quick look, let's take a look at free agency and see what's here. So, all right, some big notable names that could definitely help our team pretty much everywhere. We got, what is our cap space? We got $10 million in cap, so we could go after someone big if we really wanted to. As far as I probably wouldn't go with Pavelski or Panarin. Well, could go with Panarin, but probably not the best of ideas. I'm thinking of maybe Duchesne. That'd be kind of big. We could at least let Strome develop a little bit more. Plus, Taves is, 32? Something like that. So that might be a decent look as far as what we could possibly get. We don't really need anyone for the NHL this year because we kind of have all that covered. Goaltenders, I'll just take a quick look here. I mean, we don't need an NHL goaltender, but there's some... Okay, that was weird. Well, I didn't... Oh, it's because he wanted more money. Okay, that's weird. But, alright. So, defense, I guess, is kind of the big thing. So, if we can't find a defenseman that we really want, then we'll have to look at maybe the trade market, maybe somewhere else. But if we could possibly get Duchesne, you know, we might have to trade away Anisimov and or Murphy. So that's something we got to look at as well. But to get a guy like Chara, it'd be good just say for 1 year. But is it worth it at, you know, it'd be $5 million. You could find a bunch of the people that could do the same thing he does, maybe a little less overall. Strawman's right-handed, don't really need that. Trouba, same thing, plus he's restricted. Myers is right-handed. We could get like Gardner. That wouldn't be a bad pickup, 28 years old. 83 overall, wants a 4-year deal, so it'd probably be like a 4-year at maybe $5 million. Then looking down here, don't really want McQuaid. Throw my Bowmeister, Petrovic, nah. Spiza, 2.5, be a top 4 guy. Not really feeling it. Juice, no. And then we kind of get guys that wouldn't really fit what we're looking for. So, alright. Mueller would be a decent pickup, but we kind of already have some guys to put in that spot. So, let's just say Gardner. If we get him for $5 million, he's got one other team interested. Who else is interested in him? The Islanders. So, alright. So, we'd probably actually have to pay more than $5 million. So, even just say $5.5 million, which would leave us with $5 million left. So, in order to get a guy like Duchesne, where is he? He wants $6 million. So, we'd have to pay 6.5, maybe 7. So, we'd definitely have to clear up most likely both of those contracts if we wanted to get them. And then we still have our AHL team to fill up as far as prospects go. So, we got to leave a little bit of cap space for them. But, all right. Let's try to go, because let's just say our two main points are Duchesne and Gardner. So we need about $12 million, and we need about 2 more. So we have to trade at least one of them with like nothing retained in that trade. So let's go try to explore some trades, see what happens. If not, we'll come back and we'll try to refocus our priorities. Our first trade, now I don't know if this is actually going to go through or not, but it actually is to the Islanders, which I didn't really plan on. But a lot of the teams are kind of tight on salary cap, and this is kind of one of the first teams that wasn't. So they actually need centers to play in the NHL, so it's also kind of a need that I'm helping them out too. But a 2nd round pick for Anisimov, I tried to throw in a 3rd round pick. It looked to be a little uneven as far as balancing goes, and then it kind of looked to be, I tried to maybe like a 4th and a 5th, it just didn't look right. So I just threw the 2nd on there. Anisimov for a 2nd, no salary retained whatsoever. Will this go through? No. I would be willing just for a 3rd round pick. Dang. Alright, I really don't want to retain any salary, especially when we're trying to shed salary right now. But I feel like I kind of have to, in a way. So let's go with the full $1 million. Yeah, let's go with $1 million. Does that do it? Okay. Oh, I should have threw the picks back on there. Dang it. All right. So whatever. 3rd round pick for Anisimov. We retain $1 million in the deal. Not something I really wanted to do, but oh well. Defense, I kind of want to do the same thing. Get rid of Murphy and that terrible contract of his. 3 more years at 3.5. If he was playing like a top 4 guy, wouldn't mind that contract, but he's not really looking to be a top 4 guy for us. But let me go try to find another trade with a team that's not the Islanders, and we'll come back and see if we could target Duchesne and Gardner. The next trade wasn't too far down the road as we head to Ottawa. They have tons of salary cap because they don't really have a team there. But it'd be Murphy for DeMello, who actually just won the award for, what was it, the best sportsmanship or whatever in the league. And then Kristen Yaros, who is an AHL player, right-hand defenseman, which is something we actually need on our team. So it kind of works out all in all. But Murphy is a third line for us. DeMel is a third line for them. Technically like a second line, but whatever. Will be a third liner for us. And Yaros. Trade value looks a little uneven, but let's see if this does go through. It does not. Let's try a 5th round pick. We didn't really have any prospects that were really worth much. So let's just try a 5th round pick on our side. They still don't want to do it. Let's try a 4th rounder. Try to move right up the line here. 4th rounder. Still don't want to do that. Let's try a 3rd liner and try to get a 4th back. I feel like that's a pretty fair trade. I mean, if you look at this trade realistically, it doesn't make sense. But what about that? Does that work? Just a bit low. So, all right, I'm fine with going down to a 5th rounder to make this go through. So this pick is actually for, would it be 2 years from now. 5th round pick works. So that's perfect. We get a 3rd line right wing, or right defenseman. We get an AHL right wing, right defenseman. I guess I'm saying right wing. So we get 2 right-hand defensemen, which is something we needed in the organization. Plus, we get rid of 2 terrible contracts that helps us in the run to try to get, the 2 players that we want. So let's go to free agency. Let's see if we can sign the 2 guys, and let's fill out our team, and I think we'll be good. So the first player we were going for was Matt Duchene. Now, we have $16 million in cap room now, which is huge. Getting rid of those 2 massive contracts were perfect. But Duchene and Gardner were the 2 kind of main focuses of us. I feel like that'll definitely help us, especially with our left wings are kind of full with players that I actually forgot about that actually got better than they started as. So I think I'm fine with our left wings. I'm fine with our right wings for the most part. Then our right-hand defenseman, we're kind of set, and then our left-hand defenseman, we're kind of like all right. But all right, yeah, Duchene. Let's try to offer him a contract. See what he does. So Ottawa wants him back. So what's going to get away from him? Let's try $7 million at 5 years. I probably should do more, realistically, just to try to make sure I get him. Usually when you try to sign a top free agent, usually they're like, I don't like the position you're in, as far as like a contender or hopeful or whatever. So we got $7 million on him. So we got about $9 or so million left to sign a guy who's not wanting that much. But then, all right, where is he? Gardner, right there. This one we're definitely going to have to go over what his asking price is, up to about 5.5, especially when his asking price is 4.6. If we go with 5.5 for 4 years, we get him until he's 32, 33, and he's a top 4 defenseman. So he should be decent. I'm going to try to make sure we actually, we're going to see if there's any prospects that we have to sign now as far as free agent prospects. And then if not, we'll simulate a couple days, see if these guys sign. If they don't, we'll try to offer them another contract. All right, let's simulate a couple of days here and see if Duchene and Gardner end up re-signing, or I guess signing with us. We did sign a couple of goalies here that you'll probably see pop up. But all right. Yes, Duchene signed. Great. Gardner, crap. Perhaps more money. Okay, we can do that. So we got Duchene now. That's massive. Let's go try to secure Gardner on our team. So it looks like he didn't accept the other offer either. Yeah, the Islanders aren't in a great position either. So how much? Okay, so we still got $10 million. Obviously, we're not going to spend that much on him. But what do we offer? 5.5. So let's go 6 mil. 6 mil for 4 years. Actually, he just turned 29. So let's go 3 years. I mean, that was kind of the goal. Let's get him to about 32, 33. So let's go 3 years, $6 million. He should accept that. There he is. Jake Gardner has signed. The offer we just offered him has signed now. So perfect. So we got the 2 guys we wanted to. We got rid of some bad contracts. We got a couple of different guys on the roster now. I can't see anything else we kind of need right now. I say let's go up to the preseason and kind of see what the numbers are. Usually when you get to the preseason and you go on to the AHL team, usually there's guys that are on your roster but they're not signed. So most likely I will try to sign a couple of those guys just to kind of get them off the roster, essentially. And then I'll throw them up on the trade block for picks and see if any other team wants them, just to kind of get rid of them and get in the guys that we want. So a couple of the restricted free agents, or I guess one of them, looks like they re-signed. The other one re-signed. I completely forgot about them. I didn't even offer them a contract. That's their qualifying offer that they got. But all right, let's get up to the preseason and see what our team looks like. So here we are at the start of preseason. One thing I didn't do in the offseason part was deal with our scouts. I know I said I was going to deal with them, but I never actually did. I realized that afterwards. But we have it all taken care of now, if you're curious. Our scouting staff looks a lot different than last year. It may not, because you probably don't recognize the names. But basically, we have 4 NHL scouts. We signed Mike Camilleri, former player. We signed him to a contract. He was originally a AHL scout. We moved him to the NHL just because he was better. Then we fired all the AHL guys. A couple of them we moved around, and then stuff like that. We have our juniors taken care of. We have an extra WHL guy just to kind of keep an eye on Lafreniere. That's kind of our goal this year, is to try to get him. We have 2 guys in the USA. One of the USA regions, I think it's the Central, or is it? One of them doesn't have a lot of players in it, is what I'm saying. So, there's no point to put a scout there. Scandinavia has a couple scouts in it. The other one, which I forgot, has a bunch in it. Scandinavia, Europe, all have people in them. And we're pretty much covered. So we still have 4 scout available spots if we really wanted them to. But there's kind of no point to spend money on, things that don't really matter. So our scouts are taken care of. Looking at our kind of team for the preseason. Now I'm going to do this off camera, off recording, and we'll come into the next episode with our full team. But we have a lot of guys to try out, is what I'm saying. Some new guys that we just signed, like Duchesne, and then some guys like Koivu that we drafted, along with guys like Kampf, Kajula, Cahoon, those types of guys that want to make the team. You can see everyone around. Don't get alarmed. Jonathan Taves, he's in the AHL just due to numbers. Right now, obviously, he'll be up here being a center at some point. So don't get alarmed doing that. What else is... We have a lot of defensemen that are looking for a spot this year. Boquist jumped to an 81 overall. Don't know how that happened, but it happened. So he's up here going to try to look for a spot. Just trying to throw him on the third line right now just to see if he's even going to try to participate. But then look at our scratch. We got DeMello, who most likely will fill in that third line role once Boquist it depends on what Boquist does. Then we got Forsland, then we got Gustafsson. I'm going to throw in Forsland and DeMello as a duo after probably the first 2 games, just get them some playing time. And then Gustafsson I'll probably throw in. What's kind of sucky is Gustafsson might be the odd man out here because he was kind of filling that top 4 role last year. However, with kind of the roster that we have this year, Forsland, DeMello, plus if you look at our guys that are already in, such as Dahlstrom, Boquist, we got a lot of guys. And obviously our top 4 is kind of solidified as far as those 4 go. But our bottom pair, we have 4 guys, essentially 5, to compete in that spot. So he's not completely out of the question, but him or Dahlstrom, who's in the lineup now, might be the odd man out. Goalies, Forsberg, Crawford, nothing changed there. But yeah, so this is going to be the preseason starting lineup. As the preseason goes on, I'm going to swap around some guys, different roles, different lines, different line combinations. As you can see, we have a bunch of defensive pairings we need to try out and try to figure out there. But yeah, that's kind of it of our off season. Now we're into the preseason, and we're gonna get into the regular season next episode. But if you guys did enjoy, hit the like button down below. Comment what you guys thought of the off season moves. If you thought we should have done something else, let me know in the comment section below. It's free for any kind of discussion down there. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll we'll see you next time.